Should you buy a home right now in Bend, Oregon, or really anywhere? That's a question that a lot of people are asking themselves as they've been searching for homes, watching interest rates go up. What should you do? That's what we're going to discuss today. Hi, my name is Nora Spangler and I'm a realtor here in Bend, Oregon. Should you buy a home right now? It's a very personal, individual question, and honestly, I can't give you an answer yes or no. So what I'm going to do, hopefully, is arm you with lots of good information about what's happening in our market right now, and then give you some advice as to how you should think about this decision, not be paralyzed by fear and all the crazy information that is out there on social media. Before we get started looking at the numbers, I just want to let you know that all of my stats are for the city of Bend only single family homes, because that's mostly what my buyers are looking for. So those are the numbers we're looking at today. Our median home price dropped again in June, which is great news for buyers. So we are still up though about 3.5% from a year ago, but we are down 2% from the month before, from May. So that's great. Our median home price is settling down a little bit. $820,000 was the high point in February. So we're down about 10% from the high point in February. And we are now at about $740,000 for the median single family home price in Bend. Now, you might look at that number, $740,000, and think, well, I can't afford that. That's crazy. Keep in mind, that's the median, so that means that half of all the homes sold for less than that. So don't be too discouraged. If you're not purchasing a home right now, if you're waiting for something to happen, I would love to know what that is you're waiting for. Would you drop a comment down below? I have some idea from the people that I've been working with, my buyers that are kind of waiting, but I would love to know what you're waiting for. If you're currently renting, then you still have some expense, some monthly rent, and actually you are making your landlord rich. You are investing in your landlord's wealth instead of your own long-term future wealth. So think about that. And if there's any way you could make it possible and get into a home, even in this crazy time, it really is an advantage to your long-term wealth. Who should think about buying a home right now? Here's a few things that you need to have all lined up before you think about buying a home. Do you have 3 to 6 months of savings in the bank just sitting there as backup money in case you lose your job or the pandemic increases again and maybe your hours get cut back, whatever, or you have a medical emergency? You need to have 3 to 6 months savings in the bank just sitting there. After that, start saving for your down payment. Now, you don't have to have a 20% down payment, but it sure makes the monthly payment a lot more affordable. But there are some good programs, FHA and other government-backed loans, that could work very well for you if you have a small down payment, like between 3 and 5%. First, we're going to take a close-up look, kind of a micro look at the data, the numbers from June 2022. And let's see what happened last month, and then what does that tell us about what's coming in the future. If you like my channel, would you give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button? It helps my channel grow, helps me to reach more people with great information about the Bend real estate market. Maybe you're just waiting for the right home to come on the market. Well, our inventory in June was down 11% from May, the month before. It's down about 24% from a year ago and about 48% from 2 years ago. The pandemic really has wiped out our inventory. There are so many reasons why the pandemic increased the migration of people moving from other areas into Bend. It was already a thing. People had already discovered Bend, but the pandemic just increased and lit it on fire. So our market is still fairly hot, warm to hot, I would say. We are still in a seller's market. We only have about 2 months of inventory at the current rate we're selling homes. So you don't have a huge selection necessarily in homes, but if you pull back to that macro view, investing in yourself, in your family's wealth, investing in a home is still a good thing to do. So think about it that way, and maybe think less about what's going on in the world, the interest rates, the inventory, everything, and just get out there and look at some homes. Talk to a lender. That's the number one thing you need to do. Speak with a qualified lender and just find out, where are you? What can you afford right now with your current income and what the interest rates are doing? Interest rates actually dropped a little bit. Isn't that great news? Yes, interest rates were down this week below 6%, around 5.75. So talk to a lender. That is really the most important thing you can do. And if you look in the description box below, I have put a couple names of my favorite lenders. So reach out to one of them or to anybody that you choose, that you trust to work with, and just find out. You might be really surprised that there is an affordable home out there for you. Now, how do we know what's going to happen next month or the next 2 months in real estate? Well, the pending sales in June were up 17%. Yep, those are going to close in July or August. And so that's how we know that our market is still very active. It's not going to crash. We are still selling a ton of homes every month. Our market is still very active, very hot, and it's cooled down a little bit from the craziness where everybody was giving away all their contingencies, waiving everything, and there were like 50 offers on every home. It's not quite that hot anymore, but it's warm, very warm, and it might heat up in the summer again. So if you're looking to buy, now would be a very good time to do it and to get under contract before the end of summer craziness happens. One more thing I want to mention. If you're a buyer and you're hoping that interest rates come down and inventory goes up and it's more of a buyer's market, well, don't you think that all the other buyers out there, they are going to see the same thing that you are seeing? And the market is going to flood with buyers and they're going to gobble up all of that inventory, and we will be right back where we were with so many buyers bidding up properties, waiving contingencies. So if your dream came true and there were more homes at a lower price and lower interest rates, hello, we're right back where we were before, and the market will be absolutely insane again. So maybe, just maybe, it might be better to act now. If it's affordable, caveat, act now when the market is a little bit more calm. And yes, there's still multiple offers. I'm not saying there's no competition. There is, but it's kind of spotty and it's property by property. So your agent's going to help you figure out how to make a great offer and to get under contract on the home you want. But maybe now, before everything gets crazy again, is the best time to buy. Just a thought. Buying a home is an investment for your future. So if you plan on living wherever you are, whether it's Bend or somewhere else, for the next 5 to 7 years, if that's your plan, then buying a home is probably a better investment in your future wealth, than to keep renting. If you're not sure and you might move in a year or two, don't buy a home because you'll probably regret it when you have to sell it quickly. So let's zoom in again to kind of the micro level of you're a buyer and you're trying to decide right now, should I buy a home or not? As I talked about before, first have your personal finances straightened out and in order, then talk to a lender, And if everything looks good and you have a certain dollar amount to work with, then just get out there and look at homes. Let's take a look at my first home. Yep, there was my first home in Northeast Portland, Oregon. I think I paid around $90,000 for it. It was old. It didn't have a garage. It wasn't pretty. But I made it my own, and I lived in it for 2 years, and then I sold it and I bought a different house, and so on and so forth. Over the years, I have bought and sold many homes. So come on, dive in. Do something good for yourself, for your family, for your future wealth. Don't sit on the sidelines and wait and find out that next year Ben's home prices are now 5 or 7% higher, in addition to a 6 or above 6% interest rate. You're going to be wishing you had bought in 2022. Now, I am not saying this just because I sell homes for a living. This is my personal advice, good, sound financial advice. If you're going to be in the same place for 5 to 7 years and you can afford it, maybe you can't right now. Maybe there's a house hack you can use. I don't know. It kind of makes me sad to think that so many buyers are just paralyzed by fear and by what you see in social media that is telling you everything's going to crash and just wait and wait. You could wait 10 years and it will never come again. What happened in the pandemic? Highly unlikely that 3-4% interest rates, those are not normal. Interest rates are pretty normal at 5.5%, 5.75%. You could even get an adjustable rate, a 5-year adjustable rate mortgage if you have good credit and a decent down payment, probably in the 4 to 5% range. What would that do to your monthly payment? Just think about it and look at micro, but also pull back and look at the macro elements of this decision you're trying to make, which is the long-term benefit or not benefit of buying a home. And I feel like the benefits definitely outweigh any of the struggles or sacrifices that have to be made. Sacrificing to buy a home, it really is worth it. And in the long run, I think you'll be very happy that you did it. The only caveat I will say is, please don't make yourself house poor. Don't go into so much debt that you don't have money to enjoy life, because that's important, and you live in Bend because you want to enjoy life. So don't make yourself house poor, but maybe there's a way you can still get into a house this year. Talk to me, talk to your lender. Let's make it happen.